Yon, good morning sa inyo mga kamamaw. Pupunta tayo ngayon sa sa event ng Bridging Filipino Advocacy Corps. So meron sila ngayon na present to you everything you need to know about real estate, mortgage, income tax, immigration, and life insurance. So lahat na yan, makakakuha tayo ng magandang impormasyon na pwede nating i-share sa mga manonood. Baka nandito na yung mga katanungan nyo sa isip nyo at masasagot na natin ngayon. So ngayon mga kamama, pupunta tayo para supportahan natin ang Bridging Advocacy Corp. And hello mga kamama, I'm here with Baron Chatfield of Primerica. So I'm gonna ask him like one question. How can you what else man? Some of the usually Filipino came here in Canada, like they were just like a week or a month here. Right. How do you suggest and everything how to get the life insurance here in Canada?
Yeah, well, I mean, the first thing I would sit down and kind of assess what is your need, because there's usually a few reasons why people need life insurance, and generally it's going to come down to you have possibly some debt that you need paid off in the event you pass away. Maybe you have a young family, maybe you have some dependents, and if you pass away, your income stops. So you're going to need to have some life insurance to replace that lost income. And then possibly, if you're looking to buy a house, you're looking to have a mortgage, and if you were to pass away, you want to make sure that that mortgage is taken care of, that your family doesn't have to be stuck with the mortgage and only one income. So you want to make sure you have enough life insurance to cover the mortgage. And then really, if you don't have a lot of money saved, life insurance is going to be essential. So generally, when you have a young family, when you have either some debt or a high amount of debt, like possibly a mortgage, and you don't have an awful lot of money saved, that's when the most optimal time to have life insurance is. That's when it's really required, and that's generally going to be in your responsibility years of life. Now, when you're older and your kids are grown and gone, your debts are paid off, you have less dependents, then the need for life insurance becomes a lot less.
Hello, I'm just gonna ask him again, because usually I'm here in Canada for like about 11 years. So maybe some other people will didn't know, or we need to do some clarification. What's the difference between when you're applying a life insurance and then you're applying for like an insurance for applying for a new house?
Right.
What's the difference?
So a couple of things that I find there's some confusion on. Yeah. Not just talking with newcomers to Canada, but even talking with just Canadians in general. So there's kind of three different types of insurances. There's life insurance, there is mortgage default insurance, and then there's also home insurance. So all those three things are actually quite different. Life insurance, you can buy two different ways. You can buy as your own policy that you own, or you can also buy mortgage life insurance that's actually tied to the mortgage. So I'm going to talk about that one specifically, mortgage life insurance. So mortgage life insurance basically is if you're covered for whatever the balance of the mortgage is going to be. So let's say you have a $300,000 mortgage, you're covered for that balance of the mortgage, and then as you pay down your mortgage, the balance of your mortgage decreases, but also the balance of your life insurance decreases as well. So let's say you have $100,000 left owing on your house. If you were to pass away, all that would be paid off is just the outstanding balance. Even though you're paying for $300,000 of coverage, because that's what you started with, it only pays off the balance of your mortgage. And then typically the drawback with that is the coverage amount's decreasing because your balance is decreasing. Now, when you go and renew your mortgage, let's say you take it from one provider to another provider, well, you're going to be older, so generally the cost of insurance is going to be higher. So you're going to be paying an increasing premium potentially on a declining balance of coverage. So what we recommend to people is just get your own standalone life insurance. Just have your own life insurance policy that covers the balance of your mortgage and then whatever additional coverage amounts that you need. So you only need one policy. You don't need multiple policies to cover that. And it's generally cheaper that way, and you have more control over it.
And then how about the, what do you call this one? Is there any possible, like, usually if you have your own life insurance now, you can apply for another insurance that you're talking about, like about for home? What was that?
So there's home insurance. So home insurance would be like if your house burns down. This is not where I specialize in, but if you have a sewer backup in your house, if your house burns down, that would be house insurance.
Yeah.
So generally you'd get that through one of the like home and auto brokers. There's multiple companies out there that do that. And then the mortgage default insurance, if you don't put a down payment of 20% or greater, you have to buy mortgage default insurance, and that's going to be built right into the mortgage cost.
Yeah.
There's going to be a cost for that. But why I mention those is because I find sometimes people get those three things confused.
Yeah.
I find, and that's not just with newcomers in Canada.
But is there any insurance that like you can use it when you apply for a new house? Is there any insurance?
So the bank sometimes is going to ask you, or your lender is sometimes going to ask you to have life insurance
Oh, I see.
to cover the mortgage, right? Now you're also going to need, generally, you're going to need home insurance as well. They're going to require that as well. So the life insurance would be coverage that you would need when you take out a mortgage, for example.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
But there's what they also, there is none such as thing like insurance, like only for applying a house. There's
No.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he just clarified even me because I was wondering that me and my wife got some insurance. Then we were thinking about that we're gonna use that insurance for applying a house, but eventually it's none.
Right.
Yeah. So it just like that's why I came here to ask personally, so I can know about everything about insurance here in Canada. So thank you for
Yeah.
the
Hey,
information.
welcome. So just a little bit about myself. I've been with the company now for 20 years. I've been in this business. 20 years actually as of last month. So so I've been doing this since I was 21 years old. So it's been the longest single thing that I've done. And just a little bit about who we are. So we don't just do insurance. We actually do kind of the full package, the full financial plan when it comes to sitting with clients. So we help people obviously become properly protected on the life insurance side. We deal with some other insurances as well. We help people to start investing, saving for the future. We talk about some strategies to eliminate debts and become debt-free more quickly. Another thing that we actually help people to do as well is, because there's a lot of newcomers coming to Canada, and even a lot of people that are just kind of getting into the workforce, they're looking at ways to, how can we save to buy a house? How can we strategize to do that? So we talk to a lot of younger people and newcomers to the country about the first home savings account. I think that's a great avenue for people to save for buying their first house. So we talk about some strategies like that, and then obviously we help people just earn additional income. We talk about some different ways to reduce taxes. So really just kind of teaching people the basic concepts of how money works, because it's something we never learned in school. I grew up in Canada, lived my whole life basically in Canada, and not once did we ever get like any kind of education about money. And so when you're new to the country, all these rules and concepts are new as well. So it's like, we never learn about any of this kind of stuff. So that's one of the things that I think is really impactful, is just learning how does money actually work? What are some of the strategies? What are some of the ways that we can actually use this effectively? So we're gonna talk a little bit about life insurance today. And so we kind of boil it down to this. We refer to it as income protection. So just imagine for a second you have this toaster in your house, right? And you have this toaster in your house, and on the 1st and 15th of every month, $2,000 popped out of the toaster. Right? You guys would probably like that toaster, right?
Yes.
You're like, where can I get more of these toasters?
We'll buy more of that.
Buy more of these toasters. Right? So, would you insure that toaster though? Like, would you put insurance on it to make sure that the 2,000 is going to keep coming on the 1st and 15th?
Yeah.
Of course you would, right? Unfortunately, there is not a toaster that's like that. But what we're talking about there, we're referring to your income, right? So, for many people, if you have a 2-family income, husband and wife, they both work. Let's say they each make about $2,000 on the 1st and 15th, or whatever that number is. Really, the way you got to look at life insurance is you take one of those people out of the equation, their income also goes as well, right? So if you're used to living on a certain dollar figure, let's use this example right here. So let's say we have this real life example where you have your mortgage, your car payment, your insurance, your credit cards, your utilities, groceries, childcare, all the things that you have in your life. Let's just say that all of your living expenses are $7,000 a month, right? Who can kind of relate to this in some respect, right? You have all these different expenses that come out. You have 2 family incomes. The problem is, what happens if one of those family incomes go away, right? So if we lose one of those family incomes, let's say the husband passes away, now what ends up happening is you have $3,500 to cover $7,000 of expenses, right? Just because one person's income went away doesn't mean the expenses went down by half. And this is one of the biggest things that I've seen in the 20 years I've been doing this. I sit with people that have a variety of things. They either have no life insurance, they have some life insurance, they have life insurance just on loans, But one of the kind of overwhelming things is I find the majority of people we sit down with don't have the right amount, right? They don't have the right amount of life insurance. And it's because they never really sat down and looked at kind of a longer term plan. A lot of times life insurance is one of those things that we just think, well, I got life insurance. But we never really sit down to think, like, do I have enough? Like, do I have the right amount? And what the amount of life insurance I have, what is that going to go to cover, right? So I think it's one of those things that we don't really give a lot of thought of, right? It's not, everybody goes shopping for houses, cars, clothes, but when have you ever woke up on a Saturday morning saying, hey honey, I think today is a good day, we should go shopping for life insurance, right? Like, nobody does that, right? Nobody goes shopping for products that require responsibility, right? So all of the things that we do in our business are responsibility based, right? Nobody really goes shopping for those things. So let's dive into this a little bit more. So who should buy life insurance, right? So when we're looking at this, what's the purpose for? The purpose is really for income replacement. You want, if you have a husband or wife pass away, you have young kids, you have a mortgage, you have some of those debts, you want to make sure that you're devastated financially when you have a loved one pass away, right? You want to make sure that you're not devastated financially as well, because that just adds to the burden. You don't want the burden of somebody passing away and then having this financial burden as well. So what should you buy? Well, we recommend term life insurance. We'll get into that in just a second. And who should buy it? People should buy it that have a dependent. People depending on your income. So I always say there's three reasons. We were kind of going through this earlier. There's three reasons really why people need life insurance. Is you have young family that's depending on your income, right? Maybe you have some debts that you want paid off and you don't want a burden to your family. Maybe you have a mortgage, and then you simply don't have enough money saved that are going to cover all of those things, right? So our philosophy really is this. We recommend when you have, so let's say today you have young kids at home. Let's say you have a high debt. Maybe it's not even high debt, maybe it's just some debt, right? Car loan, possibly, credit cards, lines of credit. You have a house mortgage. So you take one of those incomes away, that's pretty devastating to the family, right? But now if we look later in the future, so let's say that you're following a financial plan, because we don't recommend just buying life insurance and then that's the only thing that we're going to do. We recommend actually doing a written financial plan. So if you're not just buying one thing, you're actually looking at your whole financial picture. So really what we recommend is in those earlier years when you have young kids, you have high debt, you have the mortgage, obviously as it says, their loss of income is devastating, right? But let's roll the clock forward. So if you're 30 today, and let's say you want to retire at 65, we have 35 years, right? So you're gonna have, potentially in that 35 years, you're gonna have a 20 to 30 year need for life insurance, just depending on how old your kids are, right? And within those 30 years, what we also recommend is while your kids are now, growing up, having families of their own. So let's say if your youngest child is 2 and you're 30 today, 30 years from today, you have a 32-year-old, right? They should be, in theory, grown and gone and out of the house, right? I know Filipino parents like to keep their kids at home a little longer sometimes. My wife is Filipino, so I know all about that. So lower debt, right? You should have had a plan where your debt's paid off. And then you should have your mortgage paid off if you're following a financial plan. We don't want you to have a mortgage forever, right? We want you to get out of having a debt, out of having a mortgage at some point. So really our philosophy at this point is if your kids are grown and gone, you have no debt anymore, and you followed a financial plan which includes saving and investing, whether it's using an RSP or a TFSA, at a certain point you're not going to have a need for life insurance anymore, right? Because if you were to pass away, and let's say kids are grown and gone, debts are all paid off, no mortgage anymore, and you've been investing diligently for the last 30 years into an RSP, into a tax-free savings account, possibly a pension through work, your family is going to have a decent nest egg built up at that point, right? And everybody has what we call a financial independence number, right? So your financial independence number is going to be the number in dollars that you're going to need to basically take you from retirement age to death, right? And you don't necessarily know when that's going to be, right? You don't necessarily know when you're going to pass away. But let's say most people are going to retire at 60 or 65. You're probably going to need income for what? 20, 25, potentially 30 years, right? So you're going to need to have some money set aside there. So if you pass away and you have no debt, no dependents at home, and you have a nest egg built up in your RSP, in your tax-free savings account, maybe in your company pension plan, you're going to have enough money there that the family doesn't necessarily need life insurance anymore. So we don't look at it as a long-term need. So how much is enough? I mean, we actually go through a whole assessment to figure out how much life insurance people need. But here's just a quick rule of thumb that experts recommend. They say, well, if you have about 10 times your annual salary, that's a good place to start, right? That may or may not be enough though. So we actually want to sit down and do a full assessment to figure out how much life insurance somebody should have. There's a number of different types of life insurance out there. So there is life insurance that you can buy on your mortgage, which it's called mortgage life insurance. We were talking about that a little bit earlier. So mortgage life insurance is going to be life insurance that you buy to cover the remaining balance of your mortgage. And it would typically be recommended against that because there's better products that you can get, usually at lower prices, and you have far more control of. Some of the pitfalls with mortgage life insurance is you're covered only for the balance of your mortgage, and it's tied to the mortgage. If you were to go move your mortgage from, let's say, one banking institution to another because they were going to offer you a better rate at the end of your term on your mortgage, and you were going to go renew it somewhere else, you have to generally qualify for that life insurance all over again. You're older, it's going to cost you more, and your balance is decreased on your mortgage. So what we recommend is against that. Just have your own personal policy. It's way better to have your own personal policy than it is to have mortgage insurance or any insurance that's tied to loans. So this is an important piece right here because I find this happens quite often when I sit with clients. They're going to have life insurance on their mortgage. They're going to have life insurance on a vehicle loan that they purchased because they're really good at trying to
to ask questions about immigration, she is the right person. She's with Alexine Immigration. Her name is Arlene Ruiz. Can you see everyone, Mare?
Yeah, I see people. Is that all we have?
Yeah, there's how many of us here? 2, 4, 6,
Malamig
just
kasi.
9 people. All right, okay.
I hope everybody can see me. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I guess I'll just do a brief introduction about myself. Maring Press introduced me. My name is Arlene Ruiz, and I'm the immigration consultant for Alexine Immigration. So I've been in the business for over 13 years now. So I guess if you guys have any questions for me, I open the table. My office is downtown. If you guys have any question, pwede na kayo magtanong.
Or do you have any presentation, maybe like some information that?
I don't have any presentation. I guess I can just kind of go over my company. So because I'm chiming in from Calgary, my son has a tournament, so I actually had to miss his games today. But anyhow, Alexine Immigration is an immigration consulting firm located po sa Saskatoon. I've been doing it since 2013 as probably about the same time as Maring Presi has been doing her real estate business. I think we kind of go hand in hand. We help a lot of people with navigating the immigration paperwork. So, ang range ng service namin is from spousal sponsorship to work permit, permanent residency, and ultimately citizenship application. Family sponsorship is another way. In addition, we also work with a lot of businesses in the city, and some are outside of the city. Kapag may challenges sila with finding reliable and qualified workers, some of the businesses nagko-contact sila sa akin, and then they would say, hey, I'm looking for instance, like I'm looking for food counter attendant or food service supervisors. or maybe a caregiver. Those are just some of the avenues that we help businesses connect with reliable workers. So like even with some of the changes, immigration policies, I'm not sure if you guys are following. There's a lot of changes that's happening right now with the immigration regulations, but we are still in business. We're still helping connect our kababayans with with employers, or kung nag-asawa and then they want to bring their significant other or their dependent children in Canada. Those are just some of the avenues that we help our fellow kababayans. Yung aming services is not strictly just for Filipinos. I just tend to gravitate towards the Filipinos because it's easier for them, it's easier for me. They can express themselves a little bit more easier, especially if there are some challenges or language barriers. So, maalam po ako mag-Tagalog. So, if you guys have any question na Tagalog, nakakaintindi naman po ako. I'm very fluent in Tagalog. I was born and raised in Canada, so maalam ako mag-Tagalog. So yeah, again, the goal ng Alexin Immigration is to make the process as simpler as possible in navigating the complexities ng immigration paperwork. Medyo sometimes it's challenging when people are filling out the applications and they see like a 14 pages application or 3 different forms or 5 different forms. So that's where I come into play. Also, yung mga employers na they want to hire workers under the Temporary Foreign Worker Program. So those are the jobs under the LMIA. Then we help the employers as well as the workers. So it's kind of like almost like a dual intent or dual service on both sides of the spectrum, from the employer side and also from the worker side. So I open the table po. If you have any questions, let me know. I will try and do the best that I can to answer any questions you may have. But if there's anything that I am unsure, I can jot it down and then I can take down your information and then I can personally call you once I have more information.
I just want to ask you because we've been we know about RRSP, but there's a new thing that sounds like new to me. What does it mean by RDSP?
Yeah, so the RDSP has actually been around for a while. It's one of those things that a lot of people don't know about. So what it stands for is the Registered Disability Savings Program. Yeah. So what it is anybody that qualifies for the disability tax credit may also qualify for the Registered Disability Savings Program. So for example, with the Registered Disability Savings Program, there are some income thresholds that are applicable to this particular account type. So, but for example, if you're a child, let's say you qualify for the disability tax credit, your parents can actually go and apply for the Registered Disability Savings Program for you. So they could put in $1,500, $1,500 per year, and the government can match as high as $3,500 per year for as long as you qualify for that disability tax credit. Up to a certain age, it cuts off at 49. You can qualify up until 49 for that. So it can be a way for you to save long term for retirement under a disability savings program.
Oh, I'm here with Elena, with mortgage specialist on CIBC. CIBC. Maybe you can explain something about mortgage here, because usually some of the Filipino here or some other live here in Canada doesn't have any house yet. So can you explain something about the mortgage, so some of the people will view this video, they can have some idea about everything about mortgage. So
okay. Hello, I'm Elena. I'm a mortgage specialist at CIBC, and I've been on this role for almost 13 years. So first thing I would like to recommend you is to speak to a specialist. We all have friends, family members, neighbors who just bought a house, or a worker who just bought a house, and they all give you some advices. However, these kind of advices may not always be related to your situation. So therefore, please contact the mortgage specialist first before you want to buy a house, because there are lots of things to look after and look for when you apply for a mortgage. First of all, yes, you do need to have a job, and it does not matter if it's full-time job or a part-time job. However, the mortgage process or what kind of income documents you'll need to provide is different if you have a full-time job or you have a part-time job. And mortgage specialist will be able to advise you what documents we need. As also, you need to know that as per Canadian government or Canadian regulations in regards to mortgages, you do need to have minimum 5% for the down payment to apply for the mortgage, 5% from the selling price. And in our bank, it could be used from your personal savings, or it could be gifted from your family members. I will be able to tell you more when we have a personal conversation. Either it's over the phone or via email or in person. So because I'm employed by CIBC Bank and I'm mobile mortgage advisor, I work at home office, and my work hours are extended to 8 p.m. from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Friday, fluctuating and flexible hours on Saturday, and I take family day on Sunday. So please contact me. You have 11 hours time window, Monday to Friday, to contact me, and I'll be happy to help you. One more thing I would like to emphasize is that before you start looking for a house, please do a pre-approval. Pre-approval, it is a process that gives you information of how much of the purchase price of the property you can support using your income. You know, instead of looking for the houses, driving around with realtor, going to different properties, and I would say wasting your time, because you don't know where you pre-approved for $200,000 or for $500,000. Sometimes our clients say, like, oh, probably I cannot afford this house, until they meet me and we do the calculation. Now, sometimes, many times, when I do the calculation and I present the pre-approval amount, my clients say, well, it is hard for me to find a decent house for this amount you pre-approved. In this case, I look at different options, what can be done to get the application approved for the high amount of the property. Either it's adding another applicant with income to the application, to the mortgage. Either it's increasing the down payment. It's paying off some of your debts that you may have. Let's say you have very small loan for a car loan, and that can be eliminated. We can do that, and then the mortgage approval or pre-approval amount on the purchase price will increase, or we spread amortization. So many factors could be looked after when applying for the mortgage, and a good specialist will guide you through that.
Yeah. So thank you for the information. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Nandito tayo kay Ate Ninita Armstrong. Siya naman isang realtor specialist. So ate, invite mo naman sila.
Hello everyone, my name is Ninita Armstrong. I am your realtor here in Saskatoon. I've been a realtor since 2012. So yeah, those who are planning to buy a home, I am here to help. Just call me. My phone number is 306-241-8088. I deal with residential only. So yeah, if you're looking for a home, like whether you're first-time home buyer, second-time home buyer, yeah, just give me a call. So yeah, I am your local realtor here in Saskatoon. Again, my name is Ninita Armstrong, and I am with Royal LePage Varsity. So yeah, see you all.
Si Ate Bella, ang Vice President ng Bridging Filipino Advocacy Corp dito sa Saskatoon. Ate, salamat din sa pag-invite sa akin dito para at least kahit paano yung mga manonood is nagkaroon ng maraming information about when it comes sa immigration, sa income tax, sa mortgage, sa life insurance. So ate, may event pa bang darating?
Yes.
After this one?
Actually, as a matter of fact, on Saturday, April 5th, which is next Saturday, we're having the Mental Health and Drug Addiction Awareness, which Andre Latendre is our guest speaker, and a few, people that's in the, like Brad Redekov is coming, Vicky Mowat, the Gender Girl, and hopefully Sinus Timon from the City Council will be coming. And then after that, on May the 10th, we'll have another event, which is the Mothers and Father's Day celebration. We're going to celebrate both at the same time so that we can incorporate the mom and the dad together instead of just the Mother's Day. And then after that, the third week of May, we're also going to have another event, which is we'll focus on life insurance, RRSP, RESP, RDSP, and all a lot of things. Investment. I know that there's a lot of new kabayan natin dito where they may need life insurance and RSP, and there's a lot of things that actually that we don't know, and I don't know for sure that it's actually offered by the government, and so we have to take those for granted for our members and our Filipino kabayan that's new and old, that's in Saskatoon, or even in Saskatchewan, that is. Also, I would like to say thank you to Byron Chatfield from Primerica, who come here today and speak about life insurance, investment, and a little bit of RESP. And also Ninita Armstrong, who is talking about real estate and mortgage. And Alexis from Alexis Immigration talk about citizenship and immigration and policy and protocol for immigration. And also Elena Shinogovska, I think it's last name. She's also talking about mortgage, and she is with our CIBC. So if you guys have any question, or if you want more information about what we have today or the upcoming events, please do reach out to me or to other board of directors like Jerwin Capili. She's our social media and board of directors, and Roger Jurado and Renita Armstrong and myself, and Catherine. There's a few of us, so you can private message them if you want to get involved. Thank you very much for watching. Okay.
Mga kamamo, sana marami kayong natutunan ngayong araw na to. I-message nyo na lang sila directly para maano nyo yung mga information kung ano ba yung mga dapat nyo i-inquire when it comes sa insurance, mortgage, sa realtor, and then sa income tax. Ayun, nandiyan naman naglagay ako ng mga number nila, paki-message nyo na sila. So maraming salamat mga kamamo, paki-like and share naman this video. Maraming salamat po.